Top 5 Most Overrated Tourist Attractions. Gradually and with fingers crossed, we're starting to get back to normal. Even as the COVID-19 Delta variant threatens additional lockdowns, the world is opening back up to travel, and one thing we can all use is a vacation. South Beach, Miami. The problem with South Beach isn't that it exists, it's that it's the most noteworthy tourist attraction in an absolutely amazing city, and is a garish, trashy trap. South Beach marries the worst of Florida: gaudy, tacky, violently drunk, with the worst aspects of mass tourism, overpriced, underwhelming restaurants and bars, and ignorant fools thinking they're getting some sort of authentic South Florida experience. Locals know precisely how trashy South Beach is. In fact, they sort of like it that way because it keeps tourists away from the city's best beaches, dining, and nightlife. However, the area is now facing a crackdown amid complaints from residents about excessive noise, crowds, and, most recently, nightly COVID-19 super-spreader events. Checkpoint Charlie, Berlin. Perhaps no symbol in modern history better exemplified the value of freedom than the Berlin Wall. Following World War II, the city was partitioned between the four major victorious allies: the US, the UK, France, and the Soviet Union. And since Berlin sits squarely in eastern Germany, the US, UK, and French sectors became an island of Western freedom surrounded by an Iron Curtain. The result was predictable: East Germans used Berlin as a vehicle to flee to freedom. By 1961, some 3.5 million, about 20% of East Germany's population, emigrated to West Germany. So the Soviets pulled the ultimate optics don't, 27 miles of tall, barbed wire-topped wall. And until its glorious fall in 1989, the most prominent crossing point for foreigners and military personnel was Checkpoint Charlie. Old Town Montreal. Many world cities feature charming old towns. The Alfama district in Lisbon, Gamlestan in Stockholm, and the narrow streets of Lower Manhattan all have a nostalgic romanticism that, while perhaps a touch touristy in parts, retain the sort of authenticity that make travel so rewarding. Unfortunately, one of North America's greatest metropolises, Montreal, has an old city that has wasted several hours of many a tourist's time. Its old-timey cobblestone streets belie the complete lack of anything worthwhile around its quaint corners. Instead, it's an endless array of souvenir shops, hustlers offering to draw you as a cartoon, and dumpy cafes selling overpriced, flavorless poutine. The neighborhood is like a protracted lie, dashing hopes for some idealized francophone experience one rueful roux at a time. Guinness Brewery, Dublin. Touring breweries, wineries, and distilleries can be immersing ways to discover a region's culture and cuisine. Everything from wine tasting in Tuscany to whiskey sampling in Scotland to brewery tours in Belgium is inviting, interesting, and joyfully intoxicating. But remove the quaintness from the atmosphere, and what's left is a mass-market tourist trap. If a winery or distillery's gift shop is larger than its tasting room, the specialness of an authentic travel experience evaporates along with the angel's share. Unfortunately, such is the case with the home of Ireland's signature beer, Guinness. The thick, frothy concoction is produced at St. James Gate Brewery in Dublin. In fact, when the wind is blowing in the right direction, a pleasant barley and hop scent permeates much of the town. Times Square, New York City. If you're not going to a play or pickpocketing a tourist, please remove yourself from Times Square immediately. New York City's most famous place name is so devoid of anything interesting that a list of best things to do in Times Square is headlined by Bryant Park, which isn't in Times Square. The cheesy souvenir shops, disgusting chain restaurants, and Disneyland-esque cartoon characters peddling $5 photo ops make the area's peep show and porn theater past look downright sophisticated. Oh, and there's a guitar-playing guy wearing a cowboy hat, boots, and underwear, and nothing else, who's been skulking around the area since the late 1990s. Times Square suffers from a classic spillover problem. It's a neighborhood that has a legitimate purpose: theater, which in turn attracts secondary businesses catering to the tourists that flock to the theater. Today, though, Times Square's baseness is eating even the arts, as mass-market musicals that are essentially people dancing to Billy Joel or Green Day limit more deserving productions. That's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.